Once man accepted a simple truth. It's harmless phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is Thoreau Smiley, and I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh Cece, and I'm in the hottest band in Jotunheim. They might be frost giants.
I'm Brian Lesh, and my eyebrows are bleached and ready for action.
I'm Alaric Weber, god of tedium and useless factoids.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released, full-length, live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some material about the production.
You were so resigned.
I know. I just sound like, oh my God, we're really doing this still? We gather some research into the production and the source material, and we tell you all about it. I've done this 90 times. How do I keep messing up the first line? This show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. Hey,
thanks, guys.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. You want to be a patron too? Just head on over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We got lots of bonus material there. We've got Star Wars stuff. We got monthly movies. We got music coming at you every single week. Music episodes. Next month, our monthly movie is going to be 2008 Speed Racer. So that's going to be a wild ride. However, this week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are watching 2011's Thor.
It's not easy to do what you did. You made my men look like a bunch of minimum wage mall cops. That's hurtful. Would you like to tell me where you received your training? Afghanistan? Chechnya? Who are you?
I have sacrificed much to achieve peace. Thor, through your arrogance and stupidity, you have opened these peaceful realms and innocent lives to the horror and devastation of war.
You are a vain, greedy, cruel boy. And you are an old man and a fool!
You're unworthy!
Father.
I now take from you your power! And I cast you out!
Please open your eyes.
Oh no, this is Earth, isn't it?
Where'd he come from?
Your ancestors called it magic. And you call it science. I come from a place where they're one and the same.
He has disobeyed his king. His fate is in his own hands now.
I will end this.
Thor was released May 6, 2011. Running time of 114 minutes. It cost $150 million and took in $449 million. So it was an MCU hit for sure. This brings me to the point in our conversation, fellas, where I ask if you are all interested in playing the box office Top 10 game. This is the game where I count down the top 10 movies of the week of May 6, 2011. The boys try to guess what they are, and I describe these movies using only the Box Office Mojo descriptions. I'm Not going to ask you guys to guess where Thor opened because, I mean, it clearly opened at number 1. We'll go ahead and play the box office top 10 game. You ready, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Going for it.
Here we go. Opening up at number 10 this week. Red Riding Hood is training in the group of sisterhoods when she and the wolf are called to examine the sudden mysterious disappearance of Hansel and Gretel.
Into the Woods.
No, it is not.
Hansel and Gretel?
No.
This was that Anne Hathaway one, right?
No. Oh, are you thinking of Enchanted?
Always.
Yeah, it was.
Wait. Was that Amy Adams? Was that? I don't know. I can't remember. But no, this is Hoodwinked 2, Hood versus Evil.
I was thinking Hoodwinked.
Oh, you were. Is that Anne Hathaway?
Yes.
Okay.
Or is it a cartoon?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a cartoon, but those also have people that make them. It's not all Roger Rabbit style.
No.
Coming in at number 9 this week, a group of teenagers get ready for their big high school dance. Any guesses? This is the first time I've ever heard of this movie.
Shut Up and Dance.
No.
Enemy of the State.
A Night of Enchantment.
You guys are dancing around the title here.
Dirty Dancing 2, Havana Nights.
It's a one-word title.
Dance.
Tap.
So close. It's called
Square.
Prom. Al gets it. Al gets a point, but he's going to take it home and do some over-the-clothes stuff with it.
Form.
Prom. So coming in at number 8, teenage surfer Bethany Hamilton overcomes the odds and her own fears of returning to the water after losing her left arm in a shark attack.
Blue Crush? No, they had all their arms in that. Def Leppard.
Oh, I forgot what this movie's called.
Me too, apparently.
It's called
Blue.
It's called Soul Surfer.
Yeah.
Isn't it like a little Jesus-y or something?
Yeah, I think I know some people who worked on this.
Oh.
In Hawaii, or like did surfing stuff for it. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Who was that? Who's the blonde that's in that? She became famous afterwards, but I can't make it out from the tiny picture. I don't know. So, all right, moving on. Coming in at number 7 this week. The crazy and comical Mabel Simmons tries to wrangle her fighting family together for a family dinner regarding the health of her niece Shirley.
They just throw these names around like we're supposed to. Like they're the clumps.
Well, I think to a certain demographic, they probably would get it from that.
Okay.
This is not the first movie in this series.
Oh, is it a Medea movie?
It is, indeed.
Medea Saves Christmas. And Halloween.
Coming out on May 6th. No. It's Medea Saves Labor Day. No. Medea's Big Happy Family.
Okay.
Yeah. And the cover is like they're all in blue squares and it's the Brady Bunch font.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
All right, coming in at number 6. Set in the 1930s, a former veterinary student takes a job in a traveling circus and falls in love with the ringmaster's wife.
I want to say The Ringmaster's Wife, because that would be a great movie title.
The ringmaster's wife. She gets together with the astronaut's wife.
And the time traveler's wife.
Yeah.
They have a group.
They have a wife off.
Like, did you get your husband back by the end of the movie? No, he became an alien.
Mine became a ringmaster. Mine became a circus clown. This is called Water for Elephants.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a heartthrob in it. I don't know. Coming in at number 5 this week. When a domesticated macaw from small-town Minnesota meets the fiercely independent Jewel, he takes off on an adventure with the bird of his dreams.
Rio.
Yes!
Yeah.
Ow. You also get to do over-the-clothes stuff with this one.
With a bird.
Yes.
Don't kiss it on the mouth, though.
No. Kiss him on the butt.
He wins a giant statue of Jesus.
They're making another one of those.
In Rio?
I think so,
The
yeah.
movie or Jesus?
In Brazil. I think they're making a second one.
A second
I think
Rio?
I saw that recently. They're making a second. Yeah. Well, no, they did make a Rio too, but also a giant statue of Jesus. Coming in, opening this week at number 4. Friendships are tested. Secrets come to the surface when terminally ill Rachel falls for Dex, her best friend Darcy's fiance.
Whenever she does, they should let it slide. It says she's terminal right off the bat.
Oh, is this that John Green book? What is this? It's like Mandy Moore or something.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
might be Mandy
no.
Moore. It's hard to tell. We've got John Krasinski in it. Looks like.
Is it like the thought of our stars? Or
No.
Yeah, The Fault in Our Stars.
No.
Yeah.
It is not
No.
that. She's
Okay.
not terminal. She's terminally single.
Oh.
Is what
that was
I
some
said.
dramatic language.
Yeah, for real.
Like, your son is dead, tired, so he needs to rest.
This is a lighthearted rom-com. It's called Something Borrowed.
Oh.
Also opening this week at number 3. 2 very different families converge on Martha's Vineyard one weekend for a wedding.
Wow.
Chappaquiddick.
Chappaquiddick 2, the Chappaquidicking.
You better Chappaquid it. Damn. I mean, even if the Thor sucked, it was definitely going to be the best movie this week.
Right. Wow. We got Mike Epps and Angela Bassett in this. It's called Jumping the Broom. I have no idea what that means. No idea. But coming in at number 2, Dominic Toretto and his crew plan a massive heist to buy their freedom while the sights of a powerful Brazilian drug lord and a dangerous federal agent.
Rio.
This was Fast 5.
Oh, so the name probably did mean something.
Yeah.
People.
Yes, Dominic Toretto
Yeah.
is a character people would know.
I'm like, Dominic, he's up to his old tricks.
And of course, number 1 this week, the powerful but arrogant god Thor is cast out of Asgard to live amongst humans in Midgard, parentheses Earth, where he soon becomes one of their finest defenders.
Finest.
That is the box office top 10 this week, guys. So that brings us to our character background, which there is none. No one's ever talked about Thor previous to this film.
Huh. Yeah. Before that happens, did did anybody not like it? Did you notice any reviews on Rotten Tomatoes?
I mean, yes.
Okay.
I have one in particular
Okay.
from a certain person, which we've spoken of before.
All right.
Yes.
Branna burgers.
Yeah, no. Oh, no, unfortunately,
Yeah.
it isn't our burger friend, but yeah. But no, Thor has a long and storied comic history. Al, tell us what we need to know about the god of Thundar.
Thundar. I didn't look that one up.
He's a different character.
But the god of thunder, Thor Odinson, is a Marvel Comics superhero based on the Norse deity of the same name. The Marvel character debuted in Journey into Mystery number 83, August of 1962, created by Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, and Larry Lieber. Jack Kirby had previously done a version of Thor that was included in DC's Tales of the Unexpected number 16 in 1957.
That's a great title.
The Asgardian god of thunder possesses superhuman strength, speed, durability, and longevity. Thor's enchanted hammer, Mjolnir, grants him additional abilities of flight, weather manipulation, and interdimensional teleportation. When Thor breaks a treaty with the Frost Giants, his father Odin decides his son needed to be taught humility and incarnates Thor on Earth without memories of his godhood as a mortal, partially disabled medical student, Donald Blake. After becoming a doctor, I guess it must have been years because you're a medical student. You got to go through like residency and all that stuff.
Well, this is what. Wait. So out. But okay. So this is what I gathered. So it wasn't revealed that he was the actual god of Thor until 25 issues after his introduction.
Correct.
Originally, he was simply Donald Blake, right? Blake. Yeah, Donald Blake, who happened to a doctor who happened to be vacationing in Norway.
Yes. So, excuse me. After becoming a doctor, Blake vacations to Norway, witnesses the arrival of an alien scouting party, and hides from them in a cave. There he finds a walking stick, which turns out to be the hammer Mjolnir in disguise, which transforms him into the thunder god after striking it against a rock.
Which the MCU did in Ragnarok when he meets Doctor Strange. It's an umbrella.
Yeah.
But they finally kind of do that.
Yeah. I would like to point out that his memory was wiped when he got sent to Earth by Odin.
Yeah.
So you arrive on Earth, you are completely free of memories, and so the first thing you do is go to enroll in medical school.
Right. So I am the god of financial aid. Yeah. Well.
Thor goes on he defeats the aliens clearly, and goes on to share a double life with Blake, treating the ill in his private medical practice and defending humanity from evil.
He's doing face-offs.
Yeah.
Thor. Donald Blake was the inventor of face-off technology.
Yep. Look it up.
It's actually Asgardian tech.
Totally.
That's how Loki does all those tricks.
Yep.
He takes his face off.
And yes, it was revealed later that he was Thor all along. It was the Donald Blakes we made along the way.
I almost yes.
And Thor was a founding member of the Avengers, appearing in Avengers #1, September 1963, along with Hulk, Ant-Man, Wasp, and Iron Man.
Ooh.
But that's back when Wasp was just a guy in Dockers and a white polo shirt.
Well, and the Avengers, I mean, they're like C-listers, right? They're not going to be important at any point.
Nah, I don't think we'll ever talk about them again.
Yeah.
Right now, we're going to talk about Jane Foster, who first appeared in Journey into Mystery number 84, September 1962, the issue after Thor's debut. Introduced as a love interest, she worked for many years as a nurse for Dr. Donald Blake before eventually becoming a doctor herself. Foster is later revealed to be worthy to wield Mjolnir at a time when Thor Odinson was not and was stripped of his powers. She adopted the mantle of Thor, and she joined the Avengers.
I think that's what's going to happen in Love and Thunder, right?
That's they've all but like announced that she's Lady Thor. Yeah.
And this was all, from what I understand, this what I'm about to say was pretty recent, probably after the movie came out. So she had pretty terminal cancer, and it got progressively worse with the changes into Thor. So she ended up dying of cancer, but was resurrected by Odin and Thor, having gained the respect of Thor's father. It is revealed at this time that Odinson has again become worthy of being Thor, and he again takes up the mantle. Foster would later become a Valkyrie, wielding Undrajarn, the all-weapon, which can change shape to be whatever she needs, including a sword, extendable mace, and even wings.
Well, that's convenient.
Is it ever just like a gun?
A toothpick.
A toothpick that you pull out.
Loki. He is the arch enemy of Thor and also Thor's adoptive brother. The Marvel character debuted in Journey into Mystery number 85, October of 62, the third issue to feature Thor. A note, Journey of Mystery would continue featuring Thor for a while and then eventually just be renamed Thor.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Many years ago, this is the story of Loki. Many years ago, Bor, ruler of Asgard, was battling frost giants and was caught unaware by a sorcerer who turned him into snow. Bor was found by his son Odin as he was blowing away, begging Odin to save him, but Odin made no attempt to save his father.
Later, Pops.
I'm out of here.
Bor cursed Odin, saying he would take in the son of a fallen king and raise it as his own. About a week later, Odin led the Asgardians into battle with the frost giants and killed Laufey.
About a week later.
Yeah. I don't even think it was a full week.
It's like, someday.
About a week later.
So battled the frost giants, killed Laufey, their king. He found a small Asgardian-sized child, Loki, son of Laufey, who had been hidden by Laufey due to his shame over his son's small size.
That same thing happened to me, but never mind.
Laufey was not a very intimidating name.
It sounds like Cousin Leary's. Cousin.
Or like a regional children's program.
Laufey says, eat your beans.
Exactly.
Odin took the child out of pity and because he was the child of a worthy adversary slain in honorable combats. Resentful of the way his brother Thor was treated as a superior, Loki honed his skills in sorcery and earned himself the nickname of God of Mischief. His mischief would grow into malice, and over centuries he would make several attempts to seize rulership of Asgard and destroy his brother Thor.
His bro hammer.
Interestingly, it was one of Loki's tricks, using an illusion of the Hulk to draw Thor into battle, that resulted in the formation of the Avengers. Loki has demonstrated some gender fluidity, sometimes manifesting as a woman.
That actually tracks.
Yeah. As a master of manipulation and deceit, Loki's Asgardian powers include astral projection, energy blasts, flight, illusion casting, interdimensional teleportation, shapeshifting, telepathy, and juggling.
And 10% off at Baskin Robbins.
Every single time a discussion of Loki's tricks comes up, I always think they're illusions, Michael.
I made up the one about juggling, but probably, right?
I
Yeah,
mean,
probably.
it went right by me, so sure.
He's a trickster.
A quick rundown of other characters who came from the comics and appeared in this movie, because there were a lot. We already mentioned Odin and Laufey. We've got...
See, that's what I meant, the Odin and Laufey show.
They freeze and burn and freeze and freeze and burn.
We've got the Warriors 3, who first appeared in 1965. Volstagg, Fondrel, and Hogan.
Didn't the Warriors 3 release an album at some point in the 80s along with Mixmaster Mike?
They did. Yeah, and the Lady Sith, right?
They did that. The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
That was them.
The Warriors 3.
Yeah.
Laufey and the Miracles.
Sif, she first showed up in 1964. She was another love interest of Thor. I guess competing with Jane Foster. So she was based on the mythological wife of Thor, a golden-haired goddess associated with the earth.
Oh.
We've got Frigga, wife of Odin, mother of Thor. And Heimdall. He first appeared in 1962. I think it was the second or third issue that had Thor in it. And he is the Asgardian sentry of the Bifrost Bridge. Yeah,
he's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, as Idris Elba, he is aware of his effect on women.
Yeah. But awesome character.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll guard this bridge. I'm Idris Elba.
He just took it upon himself.
Yeah, it's not even Heimdall. Idris Elba just showed up and
just Springer Bell. Just taking over
filming.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Al.
Yep. Destroyer was actually from the comic books as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that's less of a character and more of a thing.
Like he was in this, yeah.
Yeah.
I think at one point Thor wore that as armor too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it was described as an enchanted suit of armor in the comics, even though it's more of kind of a weird robot-y thing here.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, thanks, Al. That brings us to the production of the film itself. So this goes way back. They actually we kind of skipped over. There are all those Marvel TV movies in the 70s, and Thor did appear in those.
And the 80s, yeah. I think that he's on trial, and Matt Murdock, we've talked about it. Matt Murdock is his lawyer.
Well, that was Hulk, wasn't it?
It was a Hulk movie that Thor was in, yeah.
Okay.
But he was dressed like a wrestler whose theme was like Viking.
That's his theme. He's like, and I'm also the actual literal god of thunder, but...
Yeah, that's on his headshot.
Yeah. So as far as a big budget feature length film, this was first approached by Sam Raimi right after Darkman. It was he met with Stan Lee. They pitched together to 20th Century Fox. That kind of was just in production limbo with Raimi attached to it through most of the 90s. Around 97 or so, they decided to move it and make it a television movie. They got in talks with UPN, so I imagine a 1999 Thor on UPN would have been amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Tyler Mane was going to play Thor at that point. That's let's see, he was Sabretooth in the first. Yeah. He's been Mike Myers in the Halloween remakes. Yeah, that dude. In May 2000, Artisan Entertainment came on board, and it was still just kind of going around 2004. it went
It
over
was
to
just going around.
yeah. No, I mean it's going around to studios to
Just
different.
the HPV of comic book movies.
Yeah, no one really could get a handle on like how it should be made. Basically, it was happening. Like
Right.
it was like too weird, too esoteric, too space based.
Esoteric is a good, yeah.
Yeah. At that point, David Goyer was brought in to write and direct. We've discussed him numerous times on this podcast. Then around 2005, Goyer dropped out. He was in it for about a year. At that point, Mark Protasevich agreed to write a script for it. It went to Paramount at that point. Then at that point, Marvel Studios said that they were going to make it, although still with Paramount, because at this point, Disney doesn't own Marvel Studios yet. So from 2007, it just started getting rewritten a bunch. Marvel hired Matt Vaughn to direct it. He dropped out around 2009, at which point they went into talks with Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro dropped out to do The Hobbit, and they hired on Kenneth Branagh, who did direct the film. So Kenneth Branagh is known equally as a director and a writer, or a director and an actor, I mean. He's Mr. Shakespeare guy, for anyone who's unaware. He's been doing Shakespeare on the British stage since the 70s. I'm sorry, since the early 80s. The big ones was, of course, like Henry V in 1989, Much Ado About Nothing, which he also directed, Othello, 1996's Hamlet, which he also directed.
Beckett?
Yeah. Yeah. The dude really works. Let's see. He did Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. He directed Murder on the Orient Express. The 2014 Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. He directed the 2020 Artemis Fowl Disney Plus film, which was awful. He's currently working on the Murder on the Orient Express sequel, Death on the Nile. For a guy that's like so Shakespearean, a lot of his movies that he directs aren't super great. It's kind of weird that he has such a great reputation when he makes so many movies that are like, yeah, that's a big special effects movie, all right. So yeah, Kenneth Branagh, the screenplay, we've got so we've got five names attached to this screenplay. It went through basically 5 different drafts that all had enough in common that they had to give credits to 5 different people.
Wow. So
yeah, this is really, really stitched together Frankenstein screenplay. We got first Mark Protasevich, who his work was around the mid 2000s. He also worked on I Am Legend and Old Boy. J. Michael Straczynski. He did a lot of work on Babylon 5 and Sense8. He's the executor of Harlan Ellison's estate. Which is interesting. Yeah. Don Payne is a writer on this. We saw previously, we spoke about him. He was the writer for My Super Ex-Girlfriend and Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Gasp.
Yeah. Zach Stentz has a writing credit on this. Zach Stentz wrote Agent Cody Banks. And we'll see him again on X-Men First Class. He also, he was a writer and he did a lot of TV stuff. Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. He did a lot of writing on the Flash.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. So, Ashley Edward Miller, who seems to be the writing partner of Zach Stentz. He was also on Agent Cody Banks and X-Men First Class. So that they were a team at least. But yeah, a lot of different writers. So this was really put together by committee. I have a feeling Marvel Studios kind of took all of this and just put the stew together. Because this really is the first like film that feels like Marvel-y in the modern sense, I think.
I agree. But they stayed true, despite by committee.
Yeah.
Everything in it is sort of what Al had already broken down.
Oh yeah, I mean they hit the comics background. As a movie itself, it feels a little by committee at times, while still being incredibly fun and lively, which I think kind of is the Marvel brand. Like, at least the Marvel Studios brand.
I'm glad they found this plot line as opposed to going with the absolute like origin, the comics origin, like making him Donald Blake and turning him into like
right.
Yeah, that would have
Thor.
I think that would have been
him as a doctor.
That would have been a weird way to go.
It would have been a bit much.
Even weirder than the eyebrows.
Yeah. But yeah, the
possible?
explanation in this movie, made total sense.
So yeah, I mean, definitely true to the comics origins in a lot of ways. Our cast, Chris Hemsworth. This was, of course, his big breakout role, although he did work previous to this. He was he played Papa Kirk in the Star Trek reboot in 2009.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say that throughout the entire MCU so far, the largest character arc has been Chris Hemsworth and Thor.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
He's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, and I don't think they realized what they had on their hands in this film, because he's playing a very traditional Thor. Where he ends up by like Endgame is like incredible.
Right. But again, this is the brash young Thor, like he's entitled to the throne.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He was that way for a while.
Yeah. He had 3 films to his name prior to this. Star Trek, which was his debut, something called A Perfect Getaway, and something called Cash with the S as a dollar sign. In 2011, oh my God, he did Thor. And then in 2012, he was in The Avengers, Cabin in the Woods, Snow White and the Huntsman, and Red Dawn. So he was just like working after this. Of course, we got so a few people that were up for this role. Let's see. We had
famously Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, Hiddleston. Yes, Hiddleston read for it. Liam Hemsworth, Chris's brother, got turned down for it.
We like your look.
But
do you have another one? Is there one like you?
That's similar, but not the same. Yeah.
There's a number of them.
They're half of Australia.
Was it? Oh, in The Good Place, isn't there like another Hemsworth brother? That
Luke Hemsworth, I think, is who she dates.
Yeah.
There's as many Hemsworths as Skarsgårds.
Yeah, as Baldwins. Let's see. Then, of course, we've got Jane Foster is played by Natalie Portman, who we discussed on Harmless Midichlorians, our patron-only Star Wars series. She, of course, famously was Padme in Star Wars. The first place I ever saw her would have been Leon the Professional.
Yeah.
When she was
just brilliant.
And Itsy Bitsy. Yeah, she is great. Having watched the prequels more times than I probably should watch movies I don't especially like, I forget sometimes what a great actress she actually is.
Yeah, she carries a lot of those.
Yeah. She's really good in this role, a role that doesn't have a lot to it, to be honest.
However, it passes the Bechdel, maybe the first time the MCU does. But
do her and Darcy talk about something that's not Thor? I guess they talk a little science. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And about Darcy's schooling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So good for them.
She's a doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, to be fair though, they're both talking to Eric Selvig about the schooling, not to each other.
I think they have a scene, but I could be wrong. We can move on.
So all right. Tom Hiddleston, of course, as Loki. He did, like Brian said, audition for Thor, which would have been interesting and weird.
Yeah.
I
just imagine Tom Hiddleston at this point in his career being, 300 pounds and jacked.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Apparently they told Chris Hemsworth, just get as jacked as you possibly can. And they fitted him for his costume, and he came back 3 weeks later and the costume no longer fit because he just kept pumping.
He is a freak of nature. He's like Arnold level of like, how do you keep getting bigger?
Yeah.
And like people in Hollywood I've like read interviews where they say that they're like, I don't understand how he can continue to get this big.
It's thunder.
Yeah, dude, like all he does is work out, I imagine. Like it's insane. So yeah, all right. Tom Hiddleston started in the early 2000s doing like BBC stuff, like Nicholas Nickleby. He was in. He played Randolph Churchill in the BBC drama The Gathering Storm. That's Winston Churchill's son.
Yes. It's a charming little island.
Yeah. Othello. He was in the 2008 Othello with Ewan McGregor. Ivanov, which was a BBC one with Kenneth Branagh. Chekhov's Ivanov in 2008. So, I imagine that helped him get this role, which, lucky for all of us. So, this was also his big breakout. Then, of course, we've got Stellan Skarsgård as Eric Selvig. Stellan Skarsgård. Oh, man, that dude's worked for a long time. He was in Hunt for Red October, Good Will Hunting. He played Bootstrap Bill in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Ooh, he was in Mamma Mia. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Guy's in a lot of stuff. Colm Feore is Laufey.
What?
Yeah, no, that was an actual actor.
I suppose it had to be.
Yeah, it was They didn't get a real ice giant.
Face-off doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was, and he was the face-off doctor, and we'll see him again in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, in which he'll play Donald Mencken. Let's see, Ray Stevenson as Volstagg, one of the Warriors 3. Idris Elba as Heimdall. God, wait, have we talked about it? Has he been in one before? Is this our first Idris Elba? I swear he's been in something before.
No,
that we've done.
I don't think so.
Really? Wow.
Oh, well, have we done a monthly with him?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe we haven't talked about Idris Elba before, but here we go. He got his start in BBC, a lot of BBC TV stuff, like all those Brits do.
Luther.
Then,
that was a good show.
Then, Luther. Luther was like the one that made him kind of famous. Although the first place I probably saw him was in The Office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't watch Luther when it was coming
out. What about The Wire?
Luther and The Wire.
Oh, The Wire. I forgot about The Wire. Yeah.
White notes on the criminal conspiracy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Wire. That would have been the one even prior to Luther. Since then he's been Idris Elba. Wow. Okay. We'll see him next. The next place we'll see him is in Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, which I was not expecting to see on the list for Idris Elba.
Yeah. Wow.
In addition to a number of Avengers and Thor films coming up. So let's see. We've got Renee Russo as Frigga. Renee Russo. Let's see. She was in Lethal Weapon 3, In the Line of Fire, Outbreak at 40, Get Shorty.
Yeah.
Oh, the Thomas Crown Affair. She was great in that.
Yeah.
Kat Dennings as Darcy. We spoke about her recently in Defendor. She's always fun. Anthony Hopkins as Odin. This is our first time talking about Anthony Hopkins.
The great Sir Anthony.
Yes, Sir Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, up there with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, with our great like 70s and 80s like British Shakespearean actors who came to do superhero movies later in life,
and who are all in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hopkins is another one of those actors. Doesn't matter if it's the Wolfman or Hannibal Lecter or.
He's all in for this though. Okay, but famously, all right. I saw an interview with him about this. And he said after he got fitted for his costume and saw the sets, he went back to his trailer and wrote in his script the letters NAR, which he then proceeded to tell the interviewer stood for no acting required.
Yeah,
I don't know. He fucking growls at Loki that one time and startled the shit out of me. I've seen that scene dozens of times and just still.
Yeah. I think
those are the choices the actor made.
I think
he's still in it.
I think he brings it this time. Yeah. Like the way he says, you are a vain, cruel boy. Yeah. Cruel. Yeah.
I'll just never forget. Just turning and growling.
Yeah.
He's an animal.
I think he does a great job all the way up to Ragnarok.
I think he does. He just won an Oscar for Best Actor this year. Not
in what?
I don't know. He plays a dementia patient. I can't remember what it's called.
Ironically,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he became. He's making him the oldest person to ever win a Oscar for acting.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. He won, and Chadwick Boseman did not.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah, the Oscars this year were a fucking disaster. But they have been for years, but this time it was very obvious. But of course,
he did also win an Oscar for Silence of the Lambs.
As I was about to say, yes, Silence of the Lambs. Yes, probably best known as Hannibal Lecter to an entire generation of people. He, of course, was the Elephant Man, or was in the Elephant Man. He didn't play the Elephant Man. Oh my God, he played. He was in Dracula, where he played
Van
Helsing. Yeah,
and he was great. He had some bonkers lines.
I'm kind of Bram Stoker's Dracula is one I'd love to do an episode on sometime. Yeah. That one is amazing.
Terribly fun.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I mean, but he'd been working since the mid 70s, but didn't really get famous until Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
I personally think possibly his best on-screen performance is still The Remains of the Day. For anybody that's into really slow British costume dramas, he's great. Yeah,
there is no shortage of them.
No, there isn't. But that's one of the best. Going down the list here, there's so many people in this movie. It is insane. I'm going to say it totally wrong. Tanabo Asani as Hogan. Josh Dallas. That's the one I said wrong. I said Josh Dallas wrong.
Dallas
as Fandral.
That's a much cooler version of me.
Yeah. Jamie Alexander as Lady Sif. Additionally, we got Clark Gregg coming back as Phil Coulson. Maximiliano Hernandez appearing as Agent Jasper Sitwell. He will famously, spoilers, be revealed as a Hydra agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's see, rounding out the cast here, Adriana Barraza as the diner owner, Isaac Cappy as a pet store clerk, Stan Lee, of course, as a truck driver.
Yep.
That brings us to the reviews. This movie is.
There's one other person. Oh, go ahead, Al.
Oh, I'm sorry if I missed it. Did you mention Jamie Alexander as Sif?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did. And Samuel L., right?
Sammy Jackson, yes. In the
is that our first? No.
Iron Man.
No, Iron Man. Yeah.
Was the first Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson, our first. It's been a while for him. He was in Unbreakable, first time we saw him for the show. So this has 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times writes, Thor is a failure as a movie, but a success as marketing. An illustration of the ancient carnival tactic of telling the rubes anything to get them into the tent.
Yeah, yes. That's right.
Has he ever had fun? Ever?
Well, it was Star Wars. He really loves Star Wars.
And he liked
had fun with Face Off.
Yeah.
Yes, he was so tickled pink by Face Off. That entire review for Face Off, he was practically giggling.
Yeah.
But he did not like Thor. 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. As a superhero movie, I feel like it's a solid A-. As a movie, I feel like it's probably a C+.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that brings us to it, guys. Are you ready to jump into this thing?
Thunder.
I need a horse.
My kingdom for a horse.
Here we go. This is Thor. We open in Puente Antiguo, New Mexico. Scientists Jane Foster, Eric Selvig, and Darcy Lewis are watching for atmospheric disturbances. They spot a big one that looks like a lightning tornado. They drive their van towards it. When they arrive, though, Jane wrenches the wheel and hits a man. This is not the first time. Jane's driving will be suspect in this film.
Did anyone look up Puente Antiguo in Spanish?
No.
Oh.
It means old bridge.
Yes.
That's it. Interesting.
Just really quick, did they seem to have had multiple encounters with the Rainbow Bridge before this movie? Because they were like, "Oh, this matches the earlier."
Yeah, they mentioned that the anomaly
saw.
has been seen before that is associated with the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah. So I don't know what Asgard was like sending over there, if they were like had like a trash portal.
Well, Loki does mention to Thor later on, like, this isn't like you heading to Earth to impress the locals and have a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, so they went to Midgard
a few times just to hang out.
What if they are? What if they were the Roswell incident?
Oh, huh. That'd be.
It is New Mexico.
Yeah. Huh. So yeah. Jane.
What then?
Yeah. What? Let's look into this.
What the fuck were those alien-looking things?
Jane wonders aloud how he got there, and we get a credit sequence. Cut to Norway 1,000 years ago. Odin tells us how men worshipped aliens as gods. Then the frost giants came, but the Asgardians helped us out.
Yeah.
They protected the primitive Earthlings. Then the Asgardians invaded the giants' planet and took their special blue box. Then Odin tells us how awesome Asgard is.
The Casket of Winter, that's a comic book MacGuffin, right?
Yeah, it's in the comics somewhere.
It's the Tesseract, right?
No.
They're in addition to the Tesseract, the Casket of Winter was like a ice box.
I was also.
I meant what was in it. Yeah.
No, it was not the Tesseract in it.
Okay.
And that actually did go back to no. Odin. It remains an Odin's thing because later in Ragnarok, Hela walks past it.
But it's in the Avengers. It's kind of how that starts.
No. That is not the Tesseract. That is not the Tesseract.
Yeah, they look really similar though.
It was confusing. Yeah. I had to look it up to make sure that blue box is not the Tesseract.
In this movie, but what about in Avengers?
No, it is never
in the post-credit scene, we see that the Tesseract is already on Earth.
And that is not the same blue box that we're dealing with throughout this film. The casket of that is in no way related to the Tesseract in any shape or form other than being vaguely rectangular and blue.
And being stored in Odin's vault in later movies.
It is very confusing.
Yeah.
And I had to look it up to make sure. It is not ever the Tesseract.
Okay.
It has a handle on it.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It's weird they designed it to look so much like the Tesseract and make it so confusing. I agree, it's weird.
Well, then when do they get the stone from the Tesseract?
Where do they get the Tesseract? We later find out, well, Nick Fury had it all along. He got it from Captain Marvel in the 90s.
Yeah.
So isn't that what's in that?
No, it's the blue.
So Nick Fury had it, but that's not what he was testing. That opened up a portal. Doorways open both.
That
ways.
is what.
That's the Tesseract.
Yes,
right?
But not.
That's what I was.
But that's not the casket.
The casket of Winter, the box we see throughout this film, is not the Tesseract.
All right. Yeah, I wasn't okay.
And it never ever becomes the Tesseract.
No, I know
the Tesseract is the cosmic cube.
Yes,
really.
And it appears in the Avengers. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The Tesseract, the one and only time we see it is in the post-credit sequence.
In this, you mean?
In this movie,
Yeah,
yeah. In this movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
which is what makes this confusing, I think.
Yes, because clearly it looks like it should be the Tesseract.
Yeah, no, I get that it wasn't in this movie, but then I was trying to put together. Yeah. Okay. We figured it out.
So all right. So he steals this giant special blue box. Then he tells us how awesome Asgard is. Then we cut to Asgard, where little Thor, baby Thor, and baby Loki are being told by their dad that only one of them can be king one day, sparking years of unhealthy sibling rivalry. We cut to what looks like around 20 years later. Thor's about to be crowned king by Odin when his vault is invaded by frost giants. One word before he was going to be king. He was like, just finish the sentence, Dad.
Yeah, I love that it wasn't legit still.
Yeah. No,
what a weird couple of years for Thor. Was this close to being king? And then all this shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 1,000 years old, and this one decade is really fucked up.
Yeah.
And he had the Asgard notaries standing by.
Yeah. The frost giants break into his vault. We get a brief shot of the Infinity Gauntlet, which we later find out is fake.
Yeah.
Let's see. They are destroyed by a giant robot with firebeam face. Then Thor wants to invade Jotunheim. Odin tells Thor, "No, we've got a truce with the frost giants. This was just a few bad Thor, with absolutely no secretive prompting from Loki, decides to go to Jotunheim.
Yeah, he just balls out on his own.
But I mean, Loki's like, it's not like you should go to Jotunheim and, do what Dad said not to do. You definitely shouldn't do that, Thor.
Yeah.
Don't look in this box.
Yeah, he's the Bugs Bunny character.
Thor's not a bright guy.
Yeah.
At all.
Not clever whatsoever.
Not even a little.
All brawn, no brains.
Yeah. He decides to go to Jotunheim and seek answers as to why and how they invaded Asgard. We meet Lady Sif and the Warriors 3. We meet Heimdall, the guardian of the Bifrost, which is the transport beam that can take them to different planets. He tells them that if the Bifrost is left open for too long, it will destroy the planet to which it is opened. So they arrive in Jotunheim. They confront the king, who will tell them nothing. He says they should leave. They're about to go, but then he calls Thor a little boy.
It was like that. It was like that scene in Training Day.
Yeah.
I can't remember the neighborhood they go into, but like cops don't even go in there.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching them.
Echo Park? I don't remember. Yeah.
Around there, yeah. I don't want to sound, but yeah, exactly. Like, you need to leave. You have one chance to leave.
Yeah. Well, it reminded me of Back to the Future, like, "You chicken McFly."
Yeah, it was that.
So yeah, big fight breaks out. We discover that Loki has illusion powers and can't be frozen by the frost giant's touch, even though the other Asgardians get some nasty freezer burn.
This is classic Marvel, like the exposition about the Rainbow Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
We see Falstaff say, "Don't let them touch you," and Loki's like, "Oh fuck, I'm blue. What the fuck?" Yeah. It's slowly unraveling some side puzzle thing that has a lot to do with the plot, but visually,
yeah.
They do a good job with that, I think.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Yeah, I mean, they're good at setting stuff up, and
Yeah.
So all right, the Asgardians eventually get cornered. Then Odin shows up and rescues them, taking them back to Asgard. He's all mad at Thor. He strips him of his power, sends him to Earth, and enchants his hammer so that only one who is worthy can lift it. Then he sends the hammer to Earth too. So prior to this, Thor could just use the hammer willy-nilly, but now he can only use it if he's worthy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're getting at, but he was being groomed for that position, and I don't know. This act was just so over the top.
Well, no, I get that, but like I'm saying, like this is the point where he whispers to the hammer.
Yeah, that's right.
And so prior to this, the power just existed, but now he can only use it if he's worthy.
I think maybe it was just like a security update, like his views of worthiness before were much more broad. And he's like, "Look, if you're going to do that shit, no."
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. I mean, breaking a treaty is a big,
Oh yeah, definitely. So all right, we cut back to where we started in the desert. It was kind of a classic like record scratch. I guess you're wondering how I got into this mess. Which Taika Waititi does a hell of a job with in Ragnarok later on.
Yeah,
he's in the little cage. But this backlot set that they built. Very funny.
Yeah. So all right. Thor wakes up from being hit by the van. He's freaking out, so Darcy tasers him.
There's so many modern practical ways to take the God of Thunder down. I love that.
Yep. Just a car.
Yeah,
a car, an injection, leather straps. I love it.
Yeah. They put him in their van, take him to the hospital. In the hospital, he has to be sedated as he gets pretty aggressive. I liked the running joke of him like no one can defeat the god of and then he gets knocked out.
Yeah, exactly.
In the desert, a local finds the hammer, but he can't lift it. Then back in their lab, Jane and Eric discuss that the anomaly was a wormhole, an Einstein-Rosen bridge. Hey, Al, you got any science stuff to tell us about that?
I do. The Einstein-Rosen bridge, as they stated, is a wormhole. Wormholes are consistent with Einstein's general theory of relativity, but actual existence remains to be seen. Some postulate that they are projections of a fourth spatial dimension.
Ooh. And that dimension is fun.
Looks like you got a wormhole right over your shoulder there. There it is.
So, all right. They realize that Thor came through it. So they go back to the hospital to question him. So I like how cleanly they set up the fact that the Asgardians are aliens.
Yeah.
That use science and technology that ancient Earth people mistook for gods.
Right.
I think they set that up really cleanly in here. So, all right. Meanwhile, Thor's escaped the hospital, so Jane hits him with the car again.
Yeah. Funny.
Meanwhile, in the desert, the locals are trying to move the hammer, but Agent Phil Coulson arrives.
And then they do the whole ET type deal, with the plastic tunnels and shit.
Yeah, why is it always plastic tunnels?
I don't know. But yeah, I love it. They have like grills down there and people playing music. Just
party.
That's what would happen. I love it.
100%.
Like when they stormed Area 51. They just had barbecues and hangouts.
Yeah, that or the Josh battle. Josh, why didn't you go to the Josh battle?
I wasn't invited.
No,
What
you
is
were.
that?
Wait, you didn't hear about the Josh battle?
No.
Oh, when was it?
That was 2 or 3 months ago.
2 or 3 months ago. So like a year ago.
It was in like Kansas or something, or Ohio,
somewhere middle. But it was started by a U of A student.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So last year, beginning of the pandemic, like probably like right before the pandemic hit, dude, like messaged like several dozen Joshes on Facebook, and said, we will meet for a Josh battle at these coordinates in 1 year. You have 1 year to prepare. We will battle for the title of Ultimate Josh. And,
wow.
And a bunch of people. Yeah. And so a year later, a bunch of people showed up, and like a 4-year-old, they let the 4-year-old win. Yeah. And they all like battled with like pool noodles and like lightsabers and stuff. And they let the 4-year-old Josh.
It was a popular name for a few years in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, no, I know like 7 of you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like Aiden and Braden and Cadence were for like the Gen Zs. Yeah.
Yeah. They had the Kennedys and Madisons.
Yeah.
All
right. So, let's see. Jane takes Thor home. Dresses him in her ex-boyfriend's dirty shirt, which the name tag on that shirt is what is it? What's the name of the dude?
Dr. Donald Blake.
Donald Blake. I wanted to call him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I might be mistaken, but I think that like when Donald Blake in the comics is on his vacation in Norway, that's kind of what he looks like. He's got like a flannel shirt on. I have a collection of firsts, like Marvel first issues. Pretty sure. But anyway.
My understanding of the actual like first like thing was like Donald Blake is told by a local that there's like some weird like anomalies nearby, and he's like, well, I better go investigate that. I am a medical doctor.
Yeah, Al had said there was an alien invasion.
But like he wasn't just like camping and like they happened upon him. He was like, I better go check that out.
Yeah, I'm on vacation.
Yeah, I'm a vacationing medical doctor. I'm clearly qualified for that.
Stand aside.
Anyways, all right. Then back in Asgard, the Warriors 3 and Sif discuss the situation. Loki reveals that he totally ratted them out to Odin in order to save their lives. They suspect Loki may have helped the Jotun sneak into Asgard.
Mm-hmm.
Loki goes and visits the blue box and confronts Odin, who tells him that he's adopted. You should have told him earlier that you don't keep that secret, Odin.
Yeah, that time in his life.
Yeah.
He's learning to juggle.
Yeah. They fight for a little bit, and then Odin decides he's sleepy.
Yeah, the Odin sleep, it's called.
The Odin sleep.
Now we call it Ambien.
Yeah, I sometimes fall into a Thoreau sleep.
Yeah,
sleep eating.
Yeah.
sleep ruling.
Yeah. So, all right. Back on Earth, Thor enjoys pancakes. He hears about the hammer out at the crater. The government arrived and took over the whole shebang. Thor asks James to give him a ride out there. It's 50 miles west of town. Eric convinces her not to do it, says it's too dangerous, so she does tell Thor no and says goodbye, despite how thirsty this chick is. Oh my God.
For real.
Woo! Like, she needs she needs a new pair of jeans because, oh my Lord, she cannot keep it in him.
Never since she met little Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
So
that's
turned
true.
on by someone. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, tell me this. Have you ever murdered children? Because
He's all yet.
I kind of into that. So, all right. They back at the lab, they find S.H.I.E.L.D. Taking all of their equipment and research away. We cut back to Asgard, where Loki is now the king since Odin's a big old sleepy pie.
Real quick, back when S.H.I.E.L.D. is taking their science equipment, I loved the timing of this scene because she's protesting and she says, everything I know about this phenomenon is either in this lab or in this book. And it just cuts to Coulson, just his eyes dart, and the other agent runs up and snatches the book.
Yeah. Yeah, they're efficient.
A yoink.
They are efficient.
It was very good timing on the scene.
Yeah. All right. So,
and ending the scene with "Thank you for your cooperation."
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they do pay her. They give her money. So, I mean,
Right.
Coulson's still like a good guy.
Well, yeah, and these just illustrate his sort of plucky, sense of humor-ish kind of attitude.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. Loki's king. Since Odin's doing his baby sleepy face.
So just earlier, there was such a contingency on him finishing that sentence. But I guess in the bylaws, it's written that if he falls asleep for a long time,
then anybody,
whoever's standing around at the moment.
Well,
Somebody's got to be the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I had, the whole king thing is part of my unanswered questions for this movie. So I'm going to save it till then, but I have some.
Yeah.
So, all right. The Warriors 3 go to Loki. They want to go to Earth to get Thor. He says, no, my first act can't be to undo my father's final act. It's like, oh, it could.
Such a weird excuse.
Yeah.
You don't want him to come back for the funeral or to, I don't know, take little naps with dad?
Yeah, he can snuggle up to Odin.
Wants to be at the Rita snuggle up. A little spoon.
Yeah. So, all right. Back on Earth, Thor can't find a giant bird to ride out to the place. So
he has to take the long way to Mordor?
Yeah. The pet store scene was really funny. Very
that
short.
was
Yeah.
Which one's large enough to ride?
Yeah. I don't have a horse. We have dogs, cats, birds. Well, give me one of those large enough to ride.
We have a German Shepherd with a cowboy hat, but it's just for posing.
So luckily, though, Jane's decided she is going to give him a ride out to the crater. They flirt. She's a terrible driver. And then back in Asgard, Loki and Freya are worried that Odin's maybe too sleepy. Meanwhile, they arrive at the crater. Thor sneaks in. He's soon discovered, though, and has to fight his way to the hammer. And then, despite Hawkeye being there and deciding to do nothing, Thor is able to get to the hammer.
He likes to watch.
So Hawkeye. We didn't even mention Hawkeye prior to this moment, but he's in this movie of another Avenger. I'm going to pass right by this because I have a lot of unanswered questions about Hawkeye's appearance and subsequent disappearance in this film.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a Hawaiian shirt on.
Yeah. But, so, all right. Thor gets to the hammer, but he can't lift it. So, S.H.I.E.L.D. takes him into
before
custody.
that, he does some straight up Jason Bourne shit throughout all of those plastic tunnels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
He kicks ass all the way through. Yeah, despite having no powers, he's still 6'4" and jacked.
But he's he's badass hand to hand combat fighting. He's not just brutish tossing people.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, absolutely. He's trained in hand to hand for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so Jane heads back home. where she convinces Eric to help her try to get Thor back from S.H.I.E.L.D. Meanwhile, Thor has a little talk with Phil Coulson. Phil leaves him alone for a moment, and Loki shows up. Loki tells Thor that Odin's dead and he's banished forever. And Thor, despite years and years of knowing Loki, takes him at face value.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's so sad.
Eric arrives with a fake ID.
So now he can get into all the hottest clubs. Anyways, this is where they sort of introduced the Donald Blake thing, and that totally makes sense. You know what I mean? It was so tight.
Oh, yeah.
Just on the fake ID.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. It definitely, it was fun the way they, it was essentially an Easter egg, the Donald Blake thing. Between the shirt with the tag and the ID, it was a lot of fun.
Right. Totally.
So, they decide to go to a bar to drown their sorrows. Meanwhile, Loki goes to Jotunheim to make a deal with the king of the ice people.
What's his name? Joffrey? Jiffy? Frou-free.
Lo-fi.
Yeah.
Lo-fi Beats. His last name is Beats.
Lil Clowny.
This is his official title.
Yeah.
Sad girl.
Laufey.
Laufey. Okay.
Laufey. I'm sorry, it's a funny name.
It is. It's not intimidating at all.
I don't know why I'm sorry. He's an ice giant. It's not like I'm making fun of someone's ethnic name.
Yeah. You gotta be careful, man. Frost giants are dicks.
Yeah. Dude, that's not cool. You can't say that anymore. So, all right.
I have to say, frost giants seems like a racist epithet that like the Asgardians call them. Like I'm sure they have like actual. They have like an actual title. They're
the Jotun.
The Jotuns.
The Jotun.
From Jotunheim.
Yeah.
Like fucking frost giants, man, coming here trying to steal our casket and shit.
Buying our 7-Elevens.
I'm going to make the frost giants build a wall and pay for it.
They're like, we have one that's iced.
Do the frost giants call each other frost giant? Sorry, I was just kidding.
They took it back. They took
when they're amongst themselves, they took
it. Frost giants with attitude. I don't. All right. So he makes a deal to give the frost giants their special blue glowy box back if they'll kill Odin. And then back at Asgard, Heimdall makes it clear he doesn't trust Loki because Loki can cloak himself from Heimdall's ever-present glowing eye of Heimdall.
Cloaky.
Yeah. He's like Santa or Sauron. He can see everything. So Thor and Eric go home after drinking. Thor and Jane bond. Thor tells her about the 9 realms. And she tells him about the 3 seashells. Then back in Asgard, the warriors decide they're going to go after Thor. Heimdall lets them through the Bifrost to Earth.
He just turns around.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah, he's like, I can't help you, but if I'm not here, I can't stop you either.
Right. I'm all seeing, but I'm going to turn my back.
Uh-huh. Loki, however, notices this and sends the big robot to Earth to stop them and to make sure Thor doesn't return to Asgard. He tells the robot, destroy everything, which may have been a slightly too broad...
Yeah. Yes. This poor New Mexican town.
Yeah.
With no natural resources.
No natural resources. Yeah. Exactly. All we've got is a diner and some scientists.
But they did introduce the Destroyer briefly when the Frost Giants broke in.
Yeah, they did.
So, yeah, they did set him up a little.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He was 100% set him up. It was basically Chekhov's destroyer, Chekhov's robot.
Yeah.
So, the Warriors find Thor. They tell him Odin's still alive. Loki freezes Heim, and then Loki freezes Heimdall Schwarzenegger style. The giant robot arrives on Earth. They name check Tony Stark. Shield and the Warriors fight it for a while, though without much luck. It's tearing up the town pretty good. Thor is powerless, so he just helps to evacuate the town. The robot's going to kill everybody when Thor walks up and confronts it and tells it to take him instead, sacrificing himself. So the robot gives him a good old whacking.
The whole like burning down of the town, it kind of gave me Supergirl vibes. You know, all that shit that happens like in a seemingly middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But then it has anything it needs to have.
Are these the lowest stakes we've seen in a superhero movie? This small New Mexico town.
One town.
A railroad town.
Asgard. Like, I care about this New Mexico town.
This is absolutely the lowest stakes that ever exist, I think, at any point in the MCU. Like,
I think you're right. Yeah, it's about him finding himself.
Yeah, this is the
as
most
his arc continues to be.
Yeah,
Loki's just trying to kill Thor. That's it.
That's all. That's it. Loki wants to kill Thor. Thor wants his hammer back. That's it.
Yeah.
There's one town that could get destroyed.
Yeah, Destroyer hates real estate.
So Thor's about to die, but in that moment, he becomes worthy again through his sacrifice. And the hammer flies to him. He grasps it. His armor comes back. He comes back to life. And he destroys the robot.
Yeah.
And, him and Coulson exchange business cards.
Jane gets thirstier.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Like Pam Peavy sploosh style. So
yeah, she's such a brilliant actor, and she has had to do that so often in roles.
I mean, honestly,
just fawn over some idiot.
Honestly, other than her like 6 lines of sciencey stuff, this is mostly her just like squeeing over Thor.
She's like,
I mean, I think any female character that talks about Thor in the movies does that, though, to their own like defense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
anytime he's mentioned, that happens.
I mean, let's be fair. It's Chris Hemsworth shirtless.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
anytime he's mentioned, that's what I do.
It's not unbelievable, but nonetheless,
she's like, there's 3 dudes in this town, and none of them are physicists.
Not a single one of them can travel to another planet.
Knows what Einstein knows in bridges.
And they all have more than 10% body fat. So, all right.
I love in this scene that Thor calls Coulson son of Cole.
Oh, that was going to be my out tag, but I love that bit.
Yeah.
No, that's so good.
It becomes a running gag. They even use it in Ultimate Spider-Man, the cartoon, when Thor makes an appearance there, because Coulson's in that as well.
He's the school principal. Sif in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. keeps calling him that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thor never loses that sort of like child, like, you know.
Yeah.
When he's talking to Doctor Strange about the email and shit.
Yeah.
Do you have a computer? No, why would I? That kind of.
All right. So let's see. Loki lets the frost giants into Asgard. Heimdall breaks free of his giant ice cube and opens the Bifrost up so Thor can say goodbye to Jane. All right. This scene is generally fine and all, but there was one small detail I noticed that made me laugh, which is when him and Jane say goodbye to each other, there's a wide shot. She's a solid foot shorter than him. Then they cut to the close-up, and her nose is like straight on with his.
Oh, that's probably because he is just holding her because he's Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Just holding her up.
Just holding her straight up.
I had
Like
the time of
puppy
my life.
spinning her around.
I assume that Chris Hemsworth does that with most human beings that he has to talk to. He's like, I don't look down.
Picks them up.
I'll just pick you up.
Oh my
It's
God,
like,
I would have.
continue working out.
You just did the Dirty Dancing song. I wish there was a spinning scene in the Bifrost and them just spinning, look at each other, Titanic style. It's been done. That's hilarious.
So all right. So he promises Jane he'll return to her. He and the warriors go home, where the Frost King is about to kill Odin, but Loki kills Laufey instead.
This was fucking great to me. The double betrayal thing.
Yeah.
It's classic Loki. It made me so excited for the Loki show. Because he kills his father. He kills his actual father.
Yeah. He kills his actual dad to protect his adopted dad, which is great. But at the same time, it's completely selfish so that he can look like the hero. Like it serves
it's perfect Loki.
Yeah. It serves
an agent of himself.
It's Shakespearean.
An agent of chaos.
Yeah. And completely selfish agent of chaos. It serves multiple purposes. It's Shakespearean. It's great. Yeah, it was a good.
I have a question. It's not an unanswered question necessarily, but Lo-Fi, the Beats to Study to, is standing in the middle of Odin's ancestral bed. I don't know what else to call it. His
the bed which he shared with his father before him.
Yeah.
In their Odin sleep.
The all bed.
His Odin's bed?
Yeah. He's
what
like
the Odin's bed.
The Odin's bed.
Laufey is
There's an Odin's bed store on every corner in Asgard.
But I think they're a front to launder money.
Is Laufey like laying across the bed? Like, is he like laying on top of Odin? Like holding him, about to stab him? Because he's like standing in the middle of Anthony Hopkins' torso.
Yes. No,
I'm so confused by the blocking of this.
This
scene.
is one of those things like where Thor and Jane were just there with each other. Kenneth Branagh just kind of doesn't care. It's like just in the close-ups, they're going to be close because they have to be
it's
close.
Like a video game where you walk through like a wall and you can see. You're like, whoa, shit! I'm clipping through this thing. Yeah.
So Loki kills Laufey. Then Thor arrives just then and confronts Loki. I thought it was funny his arrival back. He didn't like burst through or anything and was like, I'm back, I'm Thor. He just kind of walks into the room and his mom's like, Thor.
Right.
He does that a lot.
Loki is the first one to introduce the border sensors in Ragnarok. Like, you had a job. Tell me that he's here.
Yeah, one job.
Yeah. So all right. So then Loki sucker punches Thor, heads over to the Bifrost where he opens it up and leaves it open to destroy Jotunheim with a big old sky beam. This is our first patented MCU sky beam. We get quite a few throughout the films. So Thor fights Loki. Loki threatens to go to Earth to visit Jane. Then Thor gets the best of Loki. I love how he puts the hammer on his chest so Loki can't move. That was a great use of that.
Such a frustrating, like his posture as he's trying to get up to. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So he can't close the Bifrost, so instead he uses hammer to destroy the Rainbow Bridge, causing the Bifrost machine to crash into space, kind of.
Yeah.
To crash into a glowy space-like nebulous area.
A black hole, kind of
place thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The drain.
Yeah. The space drain.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So Loki and Thor are also about to fall into the space drain, but luckily they're saved by Odin, who woke up during the fight,
got
dressed. Yes,
He didn't come out in his robe.
He's a real last minute dude.
Yeah, and heads out. Loki, though, lets go and falls seemingly to his death.
As we saw when Thor regained his powers, Asgardians dressing doesn't take nearly as long as it takes us.
Guardians. Nanotech.
Yeah.
It takes about a week.
Yeah. I haven't been dressed in a year, but that may be specific to this
Get
era.
my sweatpants on pretty quick, though.
Yeah.
I will say,
if need be.
Yeah,
I call them my ass guardians. The sweats.
So back on Earth, Jane realizes the bridge is gone. It's a bridge too far.
They've just been staring up at the fucking sky for the past half an hour.
I hope a bridge shows up.
You think he's gonna come back now?
What about now?
Now, like Guinness is like, we gotta blow this motherfucker.
The sky was rippling from the effects of the Bifrost. It looked like there were.
That's the best part of the Bifrost, man.
It's a myth. The Bifrost is a myth.
Yeah, so she's all sad because she's not gonna get to hit that. And
he made a promise.
He did. He made a promise to come back, and a promise you make with your hammer. Anyways,
gross.
Yeah. So all right, in Asgard, Thor and Odin have some dad-son talk. Lady Sif is like, why does he like that Earth chick? She's so gross.
She's gonna die. That's why.
Yeah.
Temporary. He's like an Asgardian one night stand.
That's what I like about these Earth girls. They die after 80 years, and I stay the same age.
I stay the same age.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Sif will always be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, until she
gets hired for that blind spot show or whatever.
No, but
well, it's another fun example of like immortals at various stages in life. There are old ones, there are young ones, there are middle-aged.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you get old? Just takes a long time.
Yeah, it takes a real long time. So, all right. Heimdall is watching Earth as Jane continues her research, and we roll credits. But wait, there's more. Mm-hmm. We get the first card. Thor will return in The Avengers, it tells us.
This is the first time we see this, right?
Yeah, this is the first time we get that. Yeah. Then, after the credits, Eric's being recruited to study a different blue glowing cube by Nick Fury.
Yeah.
But little does Fury know that Loki is secretly whispering to Eric.
He's all, hey, girl.
Yeah.
I hope that we get, this is just a tangent, but I hope that we get some of this moment, this time frame that we don't see in the Loki show, explaining how he got out of the drain and into Eric Selvig's brain.
That was one of my big questions is how the hell did Loki end up here after we saw him fall into the space drain?
Yeah.
And who tells him what the Tesseract is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, we do know it's the Chitauri and Thanos kind of.
But how did he end up with them? And now he's in, like, I'm so confused by how Loki got where he got in Avengers. From here, how he got to here from ladder. Prior to the credits, like
So the space drain was itself a wormhole,
right?
So he didn't just float off into the abyss. It actually led him somewhere. Where? I don't know.
Kind of like Ragnarok.
Where did he come from, and where did he go?
If you slip out of the Bifrost, you'll just.
Yeah, you end up in the devil's anus.
Right. Yeah. Jeff Goldblum's waiting for you. The other thing I want to say is I always really liked Loki's helmet in the comics. Like, I always thought it was very striking and cool looking. And I was always so sort of worried if they would even try to do that. And they totally did. And they've pulled it off. And Hiddleston looks so badass wearing it.
Yeah,
he really
could
does.
Easily have been cheesy. And it wasn't.
We really don't get enough of the Loki or the Thor helmet. In this movie, we get it during the coronation scene.
Yeah.
But we don't really see Thor's helmet again. Not that I can remember in the movies, at least. Maybe Ragnarok, they kind of homage to it with his gladiatorial shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, yeah, he has the new one that he pulls down.
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The Loki helmet is just out of control. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome one. So all right. A few unanswered questions. What's up with the whole king coronation thing? So why was Odin making Thor king in the first place?
He was ready for a nap.
Was Thor only going to be king during the Odin sleep? Then when Odin comes back, he'd take back being king?
I assume that if Thor was king, he would sleep through Ragnarok or until the moment of Ragnarok.
He would sleep through like he DVR'd it.
Well, like, yeah, he'd like wake up and be like, oh yeah, Ragnarok's happening. I don't know. Good luck. And then die or something. Thinking along the lines of like,
oh, so the Odin sleep was
Norse
coming
mythology.
either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, that's yeah,
weird.
the Odin sleep's weird because so like it's apparently he just has to do that sometimes to recharge his Odin powers.
Well, and Frigga does say, I forget exactly what she says, but like, oh, it's been a long time and we're kind of expecting this at some point.
He's been putting this off.
Yeah.
She said.
Yeah, but
I see.
But
he wants to retire.
But no, but then also, but like when he does come back, he doesn't make Thor king. He just remains king.
Well, I think Thor chooses not to become king.
Does he?
Because he says, like, you'll make a great king. And Thor just isn't like, well, let's fucking do it.
Thor kind of says, I'm not ready yet. I still have a lot to learn from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead.
My other theory was that this whole coronation, he wasn't about to say, I name you king, but he was gonna do a Dick Odin moves like, I pronounce you next in line to be king.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah. I decided to take the promotion myself.
I have named myself king. Yeah. All right. So all the Asgardian. Okay, so all right, about Thor's powers. So Sif and like the Warriors 3 and in the comics all Asgardians are more powerful than humans, but definitely Sif and the Warriors 3 when they come to Earth are like much stronger than normal humans. Do they have special powers or is that just part of being Asgardian? And if so, was Thor stronger than normal humans? Because he was a good fighter and he's still a big badass, but he wasn't. It didn't seem like he was like had any sort of like super strength when he was human.
He was made mortal.
Yeah.
He was made mortal.
He was stripped of his Asgardianness.
So do all the Asgardians have to be given this power? I mean, I guess they're born with it, but it can be taken away, so it's not natural?
I think that Odin as king can disenchant them. I don't think anybody else can disenchant them.
I thought this was all science. Well, I guess he did disenchant.
Yeah.
I think
that's science technically in their world is magic to us is science to them.
Yeah. But
or maybe
he whispers the thing and it goes away.
So
it's like a Wakandan thing. Everyone, has superior technology and abilities, but some people have powers beyond that.
Yeah. No. Clearly Thor is even more powerful than, the Warriors 3 and Sif and all them. I'm just curious as to whether their powers are simply by being Asgardian or if it's based on being given to them.
I wonder if it's maybe not even them being given powers, but like Arthurian, like, oh, your parents are rich and you just got training in like how to use a spear or a sword or a bow and arrow. Whereas everybody else is just like, I don't know, churning butter. They're like making Asgardian butter and like baling Asgardian hay.
That's true. There have to be townspeople.
Yeah, they're like waiting in the Asgardian bog. I don't know what people did in that time period.
Until the sword was tossed at them.
Well, okay, so that brings me to Asgard itself then. So Asgard is clearly not a planet. It's
a realm. These are realms, according to them.
No, but Earth is a realm. So
and Jotunheim is kind of a disc too. We see that monster thing running on the bottom of it. I don't know if it's
Asgard was one of the 9 realms.
They do call them realms, but that's supposed to be.
Is Asgard a realm? Is it one of the 9 realms, or is it the center of the
but so is Earth.
Yeah.
So is Earth. So a planet can be a realm. They're saying the 9 realms, meaning like the 9 different places in space, whether it be a planet or a weird floating asteroid that we've
Yeah, you just answered your own question. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so, all right. Did they ever have a planet? Have they always just lived on this weird floating asteroid?
Sort of Mount Olympus, right?
But they're not actual gods. They're aliens.
That's what it looks.
I know.
That's what it looks like to me. And it didn't look like they have farmland. They didn't have enough room for farmland, so they probably would travel to other realms to get things.
I assume at this point they're like so technologically advanced. They're like post-scarcity, like.
Yeah, they just have replicators in replicator for every man, woman, and child.
Something like that, yeah.
Which is why they seem powerful to humans.
Is it like an Earth ship kind of thing? Is it like a generational ship kind of thing that became a place? I don't know. That's interesting. I never considered that about Asgard.
So
besides it not being a sphere.
Like what's where the Red Skull is with the Soul Stone?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a planet? I don't know.
I mean, it looks like a planet, but we only ever saw a little bit of it.
Time, yeah, very weirdly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about Asgard in particular because of its shape. It's, and the waterfalls fall off the edge.
And it's very small compared to a lot of things. Like, it's the size of a city, basically.
Yeah, it's like Manhattan.
FlatAsgard.com.
But so which does bring me to the 9 realms because like when he's in that book and there's planets and he's showing her like the 9 realms and the tree and all that, clearly these are actual physical places in space, right?
Yeah.
So in the MC universe, we see many different planets in Guardians and Captain Marvel. Like there's many planets. Why are these 9 in particular the 9 realms?
They're important to the fabric of the universe, I assume, through the Yggdrasil tree thing. Like because Earth has the Infinity Stone. Jotunheim, I don't know why it's important, or any of the other places. But we know that Earth and Asgard are important in that like pantheon of things.
Yeah, it's just the ones that Asgard designated as if a solar system, I guess, for example.
Or okay,
doesn't mean they're the only ones, but in their legends.
The ones, well, in their legends, I mean, it's in their lifetimes. That Odin would have decided all this.
No, he has a father.
Yeah, he does, but
his father has a father.
Yeah, they do, but like,
but they reference. Okay.
But like his I'm pretty sure like he was probably like Odin's been alive for a very very long time, and I imagine at some point he was a little kid, and his father, like his family, it's the family business doing this stuff. But
and maybe those places had more import in previous generations. Like Earth is important now, but it wasn't important before the Tesseract was delivered in Captain America.
I mean,
the Asgardians saved us from the Frost Giants. We get like Thoreau said, we saw them as aliens, but yeah.
I'm of the opinion that the 9 realms are not 9 planets, but dimensions.
I'm with Al. That's what I always thought in the comic books. That's always what I thought. I know that's vague.
But wait.
Like
so Asgard doesn't exist in their.
Well, and if you can't get there through space, how did they get to Earth after the destruction of Asgard in Ragnarok? We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, because they get on a spaceship to fly to Earth.
They fly on a refugee ship.
But it does require interdimensional travel to get between them.
Does it? Is the Bifrost interdimensional, or is the Bifrost just a wormhole through space?
We will get an opportunity to explore this in
Thor 2.
Not of
course it is. It's not of course.
Because those discs open up between the 9 realms, which does lead me to think, like, are they interdimensionally connected, or are those just wormholes that connect space? Because I mean,
because if they're in different dimensions, then then like we've been in the multiverse since this movie, but and why do they keep coming to just that one Earth then? But I assumed it was in the same space-time continuum as the MCU Earth.
So a planet, Asgard as a planet.
Yeah. Not a planet, a weird floating city asteroid thing.
I would assume that they are not geographically near each other in space. Like the 9 realms may not even be in our galaxy. Like Asgard might be so far away, closer to the center of the Big Bang or something, if there is a center of the universe kind of thing. And the 9 realms are spread throughout the universe itself. So traveling to a realm gets you to another galaxy somewhere far away, kind of thing.
I was just looking up some of the other 9 realms from Norse mythology, so not from the MCU, and one of them is Helheim, where the dead who died in dishonor go when they pass.
Well, Valhalla,
the reverse of Valhalla.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. That leads me to believe these are all 9 different dimensions. And if we took a spacecraft from Earth, we couldn't get to Asgard without a special interdimensional device.
Like a Tesseract or something.
All that just seems counter to what the MCU was doing. I mean, because that was the humans' interpretation of the 9 realms, as they were, I don't know, at some point told by Odin and Thor.
Well, aren't they making? Isn't there going to be a Celestials movie?
Yeah,
Okay, that's going to explain a lot of this shit.
maybe, but yeah, I think that's.
Well, I mean, the Eternals might.
Oh,
shed
Eternals.
some light.
That's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, I got it wrong. Celestials are a type of beings. But
I
the
would love
Eternals
to have
should
these
break it
questions
down.
answered as in something like the Eternals. That would be really cool.
Well,
to
okay,
dive
so there
deeper
were
into this.
in the Marvel universe originally on Earth. There were 3 races. There were the ones that looked like us, the humans. There were these subterranean sort of Morlock type creatures, and then there were these like godlike creatures who had technology. Can't remember the names, but anyway.
All right. So, anyways, let's move on from this, because I think this is truly unanswerable. We can come up with theories like a lot, but in the MCU, they haven't answered it.
Yeah.
Even up through 2021, they haven't yet.
All right.
So, all right. So, Hawkeye, where did he come from and where did he go? Where did you come from, Clint? Joe?
Shield. He's a Shield agent.
Right, but yes, I know. But he shows up to point an arrow at Thor and then disappears again.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's like you said, they wanted to drop another Avenger because that's what they're
Well, I
preparing
know
for.
that's what the movie reason is, but in the story, it's insane that Hawkeye doesn't do anything when the giant robot attacks the town.
Oh, why he doesn't come back? Yeah. I see.
Yeah, why he doesn't
With
come
his-
back in this movie with his bow and all his exploding arrows and shit.
Well, I know what he does. Yeah.
He
It's
was
a good
in
point.
he was in the space between panels being bored.
There you go.
Yep.
Maybe he just works 40 hours a week, man, and he just clocked out. And,
Off the clock. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm out. I'm going back
Out
to
of
that Quinta, whatever, Antigua. I'm going to go get a drink at that diner.
In the saloon. Yeah.
He might have been on his way to the town, and then Thor destroyed the destroyer, and then he got called back. He was just like, "Oh, we don't need you anymore."
Batman
No,
and
he's still there in Avengers.
And your bow and arrow.
Oh, that's right. He is
Standing
still
still.
out there in Avengers, isn't he? It's clear.
I mean, what I mean was he was back at the base, which was 50 miles out of town.
Yeah. And then he got called back to
West.
the base. What I find funny is that he clearly was not on set during any of the filming of this. There was at some point where like Joss Whedon was like writing the Avengers script and they were like, hey, can we put Hawkeye in this? Let's do a reshoot and just edit him in.
Yeah. He can just be in a cage hanging from a crane.
We'll just shoot him from below so it looks like he is high up in the air.
Yeah. The one, I don't even know if this is an unanswered question because I think the answer is Thor is just really dumb. But like Thor's known Loki his whole life. Why does he believe anything Loki ever says?
Because he loves his brother and he hopes for the best, you know?
That's part of being worthy is trusting people.
Yeah.
You know, even when they let you down, you still find the best. But you're right. There's also the fact that he's a little dim-witted. We see him get smarter as time goes on, but he's the kid that got everything, so he never had to learn anything.
Yeah.
I think Thor in this movie is characterized by being somewhat naive, but learning very quickly that learning about humor, irony, humanity really shows him that life is more complex than eating gourds in Asgard.
Yeah, I think that's why he declines the throne.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't have an understanding. I think he outgrows Odin in all the ways that make sense for a modern universe. Not just the Earth, but he's able to understand that there's more than just the Asgardians protecting shit.
Right. It has that prodigal son energy. I need to go see the world before I decide to work this farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he's on his Rumspringa.
Yeah, he is on Rumspringa. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not churning butter in Asgard anymore.
Forever.
Tired of this bog.
Yeah, so that's all the questions I had for that. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot more. I remember being somewhat unimpressed by it when I initially saw it.
Me too, and I haven't really gone back to it.
Yeah, same.
But it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot more fun than I remembered. It was a lot. It wasn't. I remember it as being very serious, and it wasn't at all.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins is serious. The rest is fun. It's a romp.
Yeah, definitely.
Did he ever have his Raven in this? I think he has in the second one.
He didn't have it in this.
Odin's Raven.
I don't think I ever saw one in this.
I do remember seeing one in the second one. Yeah, but not in this.
Yeah. Huh. So, all right, guys.
Some Asgardians believe that the Raven will carry their soul to that dimension.
You guys ready to rank this one?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a look here. Down in the rankings. So, our last MCU movie was Iron Man 2, so I think that's a good springboard. Do we think this is better or worse than Iron Man 2?
Well, I wrote this down. I'm going to stand by it. I thought this movie was on par with Iron Man in terms, at least, of character development and world building.
All right.
And it was fun.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
It was fun. I don't think I agree with it being on par with Iron Man world building, sure. I'll give you world building. In terms of character, I don't think I agree. I think it was a little basic in terms of character building. I mean, yes, we had Thor. Starts out brash, learns humility, but it was a very kind of basic by the numbers lesson he got, which had to do with finding a girl that wants to climb on top of him. But I do agree with the world building. Yeah, it was great world building.
I think Kick-Ass, was this better than Kick-Ass? I enjoyed this, I think, more than Kick-Ass.
I think it was probably better than Kick-Ass. Sure, I'll agree with that.
Watchmen being the next question.
I like it better than Watchmen. He did a decent job with Watchmen, but this was Thor. This was a Thor movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Nobody had to tinker much. It could have been better. You're right. If it wasn't Thor, it would have been a by the books, almost like Tremors or something, just a showdown in a town.
And thinking about the time that this movie came out, Thor was a B-list character, C-lister. He's really no one's favorite. Mm-hmm. But now, holy shit, Thor is a household name again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do agree. I think it's better than Watchmen. Spider-Man, I think, is a real dividing line for me personally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not making that argument.
Okay, then right under Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Al, thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good spot, I think.
Okay, cool.
You wrote it down.
All right. Then let's do it. We will put Thor at number 7 underneath Spider-Man. And that's it. We're putting a pin in, or putting the cap on that one, which brings us to next week. Our 92nd superhero movie will be X-Men First Class.
Oh, sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, we already got to the second iteration of X-Men.
Yeah, for real. Holy shit.
So thanks everybody for joining us on Harmless Phosphorescence. This has been Throw Smiley, and I'm going to go now because I don't want to miss all the excitement out at the crater.
I'm Josh Cece, or Joshson, if you prefer.
We drank, we fought, we made our ancestors proud. I'm Brian Lesh.
I'm Alaric Weber, and this mortal form has grown weak. I need sustenance.
Oh, me too.
Time for an Alan nap.
Yeah. Some Odin sleep.
Some owl sleep.
I've seen it.
I'm personally going for a hot dog.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.